Hello, planetary brothers and sisters. I am Gabriel of Urantia. Welcome to the second broadcast of the Spiritualution series. Spiritualution, justice to God's people. The New Jerusalem is coming.
Holy city, 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 holy city.
It is written in the New Testament, in the book of Revelation 21:2. It says, "And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband." We hear a lot about the coming of Nibiru, also called Planet 7X. I did my previous video in this series and called it 7X, the Adjudicator is coming. But also coming with Planet 7X, which incidentally is not a planet, but it is an architectural world, meaning it was built for a purpose. There is also a holy city coming, called the New Jerusalem, also built for a purpose. On Planet 7X is not the Anunnaki, but on it is Lucifer himself, who has been recently released from his prison that he was put in April of 1989, when two events took place on the earth. One, the return of Machavinta Melchizedek to this planet, as well as two, the firstborn son of the Creator's Son, Jesus Christ Michael, and the Universe Mother Spirit. His name is Gabriel of Salvington, or the Bright and Morning Star. When this happened, an upstepping of the adjudication of the Bright and Morning Star versus Lucifer began to be expedited on the earth. At that point, Planet 7X, or the Adjudicator, began to come into our own solar system. As Planet 7X gets closer to the earth, people who are not with God's will, as I mentioned in the last complete video, they will become more hateful, more jealous, resentful, greedy, selfish, lustful, arrogant, and much worse. All these evil traits and non-virtues will, unfortunately, intensify. But acting as a counterbalance between Planet 7X and Earth is the New Jerusalem, thank God, which is also an architectural world with a shield of light acting as a buffer between the evil waves coming from Planet 7X to the Earth. Let me say that again. A shield of light. This shield of light functions at all times, except when the shields are down and Jesus Christ Michael allows the dial energies of Planet 7X to hit the people of the earth, as well as the elements within the earth, causing a warming of the earth from the inside out, causing increased volcanic eruptions and earthquakes, and many other things. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions, although they've happened in the past, they're not natural. They're not what happens on higher worlds of time and space, but they happen here. And they are going to increasingly happen because of the dire thoughts of human beings, the dire actions of human beings, which I begin to talk about in the last video. There are many accompanying the mothercraft surrounding the New Jerusalem under the Ashtar command, because Lucifer and his fallen soldiers are still trying to defeat the armies of Jesus Christ, Michael, that are actually attacking with higher technology the New Jerusalem and other spacecraft of the administration of Salvington headquarters, or the administration of our sovereign of all Nebadon, Jesus Christ, Michael. How dumb can they be to think that they could still win? This is also written in the book of Revelation, that there will be a war in heaven prior to the return of Jesus Christ, Michael, to the earth. This is and should be not new news to you. But if you're not a Bible student, it will be new news to you. It says in Revelations 12:7-12, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was the planet found any more in heaven. Last time I spoke about the red dragon that the Chinese talk about. I hope you understand the correlation there. And that great dragon was cast out. That old serpent called on earth the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Remember, this is from Revelations. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of Jesus Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. Therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. But woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time left. This scripture verse I just read actually has a dual meaning, however. There was a 7-year falling away in the heavens during the beginning of the Lucifer rebellion 200,000 years ago. It was a war of concepts, not nuclear weapons, and a dialogue between Lucifer and Gabriel, the bright and morning star of Salvington. But this verse in Revelations is more talking about the end time and the final battle between the defaulters who follow Lucifer and the armies of heaven. Just like the defaulters today. They leave the perfect will of God and they get into the permissive will of God, and they even say they're following God. But what they're actually following are themselves and the voice of the rebellion. Unfortunately, this verse is also talking about Michael and the bright and morning star, and the last battle that will coincide with the armies gathered at Armageddon on the earth. This will not be very pretty. That's why I said unfortunately. We know who's going to win. We know our God. We know the power of Michael. We know the power of the archangel, of all the archangels, of the bright morning star, who's not an archangel, but a bright and morning star. There are many angels who want to be named after the bright and morning star. But one bright and morning star, he's the dude, man. He's the dude. Just as Planet 7X causes more evil, sin, and inequity to intensify, the New Jerusalem causes higher consciousness and higher virtue and higher conviction for humans to make right decisions and do the right thing. On the New Jerusalem are many different orders of celestials, just like on the Planet 7X are many kinds of fallen celestial beings. But on the New Jerusalem, all of these beautiful, loyal, celestial beings who were created by Jesus Christ, Michael, are with him now to come back to rebuild a new earth. On the New Jerusalem is the bright and morning star of Salvington. Salvington being the capital headquarters world of Nebadon. There are brilliant evening stars. There are Melchizedek's sons. There are Verandadek's sons. There are Lenandadek's sons. Various orders of angels. And many of the people of the earth's ancestors who have transitioned and are returning to be part of the planetary divine administration when the New Jerusalem lands and Jesus Christ Michael again steps his foot upon the earth, Urantia. Don't believe the nonsense that Jesus is back again, that he's living in England, that he's the Maitreya, that he's living in New York as a homeless person. Don't believe any of that garbage. When Jesus comes back this time in the New Jerusalem, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord of all. There'll be no ifs, doubts, and wonders who he is. The architectural world itself that carries the New Jerusalem is massive in scope. And the New Jerusalem is just a part of it. Basically, the New Jerusalem is just the size of 4 large United States states. The New Jerusalem and its mothership are so huge that it actually is attracting a nearby solar system to come with it by what is called by the continuing 5th epical revelation a Deo force field. It's also called outer energy. This is the energy that pure souls put off to each other, to the elements. It also gives protection from evil. It gives protection from many accidents that take place. Not all of them, but a lot of them. This is all spoken about in the Cosmic Family volumes. And if you don't have volume 1, I would suggest that you get it. The scientific implications of this are not the scope of this video, but are discussed by many astronomers on the internet as to the scientific understanding. Not so much the spiritual comprehension, although some do understand to some degree that God is behind it all, and the coming of Jesus Christ back to the earth is soon to transpire because of what is happening in the heavens. And other scientists who see this happening in the heavens are explaining this as best as they can without knowing that it is the New Jerusalem that they are seeing, and they are definitely seeing it. They just don't know what it is. And they see the other solar system coming. So it's not exactly a secret to those who are looking. And some are getting pictures all over the world. Do not confuse the shield of the New Jerusalem with the shield of the powers that be to block our view of Nibiru coming. Don't confuse the two shields. The other solar system is actually part of one larger administrative system called Satania. Our solar system is actually called Monmantia and is much smaller. Israel, that we know to be in the Middle East, is not the only Israel, according to our local universe Father and Sovereign, Jesus Christ Michael, who came and lived in the first Israel. The lost tribes of Israel were never really lost to those who truly are students of the Bible and who understand that the descendants of Joseph's two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, became the United Kingdom, which includes England, Scotland, and Wales, and Ireland, all ancient Israelites. Let me say that again. All ancient Israelites. And the United States of America, which Jacob, one of the three patriarchs, said would even be a greater empire. And this is what transpired in history. It was prophesied by Jacob, who God changed his name to Israel, that the descendants of Joseph would become two great nations, one in which the sun would never set. And at one time, there was a saying about the British Empire, that it was the empire on which the sun never sets. Now, I'm not getting political here. I'm not getting nationalistic. I'm just saying what the Word of God says. I'm just saying what prophecy says. To understand what's happening today, it's good to understand what was said about what's happening today from great prophets of the past. So the question is, what Israel will the New Jerusalem land? Over there, or here, or somehow both? The tribes of Israel, like many tribes in the past, and tribes of many cultures, have fought with each other. It was just like we fought with England to gain our independence. But they were our brothers and sisters. It was David of Israel who became king, who united the tribes of Israel. The same soul, who is the Van of the Urantia book, united many other tribes in later incarnations on the earth. And this was part of his function, of his destiny, of his mandate. In early Britain, England fought against Scotland and Ireland and Wales and fought against their brothers and sisters. I bring this out because it was prophesied that the descendants of Joseph of Israel would become a great nation of united peoples, thus the United States, which has opened its doors to all countries and all peoples, which was part of that prophecy. When the New Jerusalem lands, there will be ancestors of all of the races, not just white guys. The New Jerusalem, or the Holy City, has no racial distinctions. As a matter of fact, there will not be just human mortals, but mortals from other universes who do not even look like humans, because all humans are mortal, but not all mortals are human. Oh, that's too much for you? Maybe you should go back to kindergarten. All mortals walk upright, but have 2 arms and 2 legs and a head. And another very distinct similarity is the most beautiful thing of all. They have the spirit of the eyes of God within them, because all mortals who know the Father and have a relationship with the universal Father, and if they're from this universe, the local universe Father, Jesus Christ Michael, there's nothing to fear. Can't we see the eyes of God in each other? If we don't, we have hateful eyes. True love is very distinguishable, and no one has to fear the look of love. I like that song. The look of love is in your eyes. Beautiful. But the other look, the look of hate, the look of judgment, that look will be cleansed and burned away by Planet 7X and the fire that is coming upon the earth. That look. What look do you have? However, those millions upon millions of souls who have the look of love in their eyes, those human mortals and non-human mortals that will help rebuild the divine new order on the earth, Urantia, those guys you want to hang around with. I wrote this in my autobiography, The Divine New Order. I would suggest you get it. You might find out what's going on. The dreams that God has planted in our hearts will be answered, for there will be no one to stop the will of God's destiny for his children any longer. You make a wrong choice, you go the wrong way, that doesn't help anyone to meet their destinies. And it doesn't even help you to meet your destiny. There are so many people going in the wrong direction. You ever see a traffic jam? You're going one way, hopefully in God's will, and there are 10,000 cars going the other way out of God's will. It's not the way I want to go. I want to go the way that I can get there faster. The way that's unobstructed. That's God's way. No longer will money dictate what a person can or cannot do. Purity and humility will be the energetic force that will rebuild the earth. Not money, not power. And the meek will inherit the earth as written, as Jesus said on the Mount of Olives and the Sermon of the Mount. He said in many places, We just have it in the New Testament in 1 or 2 places. But that was his rap. You don't have to be big and bad like Alan Ladd. You just have to be humble. The child will play with the lion, and the unsafe beast of the earth and insects will disappear and be burnt by the same fires that will burn the evil out of mankind and hateful human beings. One of the planets that is coming with the other solar system is called a nova. This is in the Urantia book. It's a big dude, big planet. And citizens of that world, as well as the 5 other worlds that have settled in light and life and are aligning, that some are seeing also in the heavens, in the system of Satania, will also join with this great assembly of loving souls to set up a new planetary divine administration. Everything that is created and built upon the earth will happen much faster, without obstruction, as there no longer will be competition. You want to compete? Go to another planet. Healthy competition is okay. But when greed gets in the way, it's ugly. It's very ugly. When ego gets in the way, very ugly. You want to keep that ego? Go to another planet. They got tickets for you soon. Communications and transportation will greatly increase, and you will be able to travel across the ocean to other parts of the planet within 20 minutes or less by other means of semi-land travel. Wow. We can't even imagine what Michael has prepared for his children on this earth. All seeds, all food will be toxin-free and organic, just like it was in the first Garden of Eden. There will be no form of money existing. I want to repeat that because everybody thinks they need money. I mean, every decision you make it based upon money. You don't make it based upon God and having faith in God. You make it upon lack of faith. You make it upon trusting in the almighty dollar. Everything will be provided by the planetary divine administration. Everything. Everything. People will learn the difference between their wants and their needs, and be more understanding of the needs of others, as actually given in the first chapter of Genesis, thousands of years ago, where it is written, to be thy brother and sister's keeper. That's so hard to get? I guess so. Very few people are doing it. No one's looking out hardly for the other person. I developed a line, which many people have now taken, even the recent senator. Your child is my child, and my child is yours. Or vice versa. My child is your child, and your child is mine. That was my original verse, I think. Those in the higher positions of leadership will be those who are most pure. Put into those ministries of service by Jesus Christ, Michael himself. We hear the term ministers of state, but very few today are actually ministers of state. Those survivors who do not follow the principles of love and service will be instantly taken to another world for rehabilitation. by a physical spacecraft. Don't believe me? That's okay. But they will no longer be allowed to stay on this planet. It is written in the book of Revelations, chapter 3, verse 12. Him that overcometh, that's overcometh, where I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will upon him write the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name. Wonderful. What a line of hope. What a verse of hope. And if you have no hope, you don't have a relationship with God to begin with. What is your hope based upon? Power, greed, fame? All those things will pass away. Your good looks? Gone. All education in the future of this planet will be free. Free. We shouldn't have to pay for education. We shouldn't have to pay for health services because all medicines would be free too. And so a lot of doctors are going to have to go into another profession if they became a doctor to make money. And all attorneys are going to have to go into new professions if they became an attorney to make money, not to serve others. Disease will lessen and almost come to an end because people will be in their right livelihoods, not just working to exist, but working because you love it, because work is your play and your play is your work. This, the divine administrators and us humans who will work with them, will work diligently to see that you are in your right livelihood, no matter what it is. A doctor is not necessarily the all with all. When you need your plumbing fixed, you don't call a doctor, you call a plumber. And believe it or not, some guys like to be plumbers. Some women like to be plumbers. You'd be surprised of how things will change when the Lord returns. There will be no crime. Why do people steal? Why do people do crime? Because they're oppressed by the powers that be. No education. They have to live in poverty. I'd be in crime too if I had to do that. If I couldn't give my kids the things that I feel in my heart God wants them to have. But that's going to change, and very, very soon. There are those that say, they need to pick themselves up by their bootstraps. Hey, I'm from the ghetto. I know what it's like to live there. I know what it's like to try to get out of it. Don't tell me that I need to pick myself up from my bootstraps. The Protestant work ethic may have worked 300 years ago, doesn't work now, because there's no just government to help people who are trying to help themselves. The cleansing of the earth before the landing of the New Jerusalem will be thorough. And very few survivors will not want to change and become loving people when they see the power of our mighty God. Those who do not change, even after everything they have seen and gone through with the tribulation, will, thank God, be removed from the planet for rehabilitation. This is the prayer of David. There will be no rehabilitation sectors on Urantia, only harmony and the union of souls, who will together create higher art, higher architecture, music, and landscaping that will complement the Earth Mother. We have not seen yet landscaping like that on the Earth. The fifth and continuing fifth epical revelation, which is taught at the University of Ascension Science and the Physics of Rebellion, will be taught to Destiny reservists who come there for training from all over Urantia Earth. As a matter of fact, they have come here now from all over the Earth. They are called Destiny reservists. At one point in the near future, there will be 144,000 of them, all that will know the fifth epical revelation and continuing, the Urantia book and the Cosmic Family volumes. They will be teachers of this revelation all over the planet. There will be 7 sectors of various consciousness, and people will be living in these sectors according to the levels of consciousness, which will coincide with their interuniversal genetics, because they're all souls on Urantia, Earth, from 3 other universes and many worlds of those universes. Some people here in Divine Administration, they know where they are from. We are told by Celestial Overcontrol. That is a wonderful, magical gift. We can tell how they walk, how they talk, how they think, what universe they are from. That is what the University of Ascension Science and the Physics of Rebellion offers to students from all over the world who want that information. But it's not just given to anybody. No. It's given firstly to those who think they are part of that 144,000. This information about the 7 orders of starseed can be found in the Cosmic Family volumes, also called the Continuing Fifth Epical Revelation. The Urantia book is the first part of the Fifth Epical Revelation. It is not time for narrow minds or living by theological doctrinal understanding of reality. That will get you nowhere. Pastors could no longer try to hang on to their sheep. They are not sheep. They are human beings who think and need to think for themselves. They need to understand epical revelation. We need to know what it is. You need to know what it is. They are not your sheep. They are God's sheep. They are not your students. They are God's students. Machavinta Melchizedek, who taught Abraham for 94 years and started the schools of Salem, which became New Jerusalem, will be seen with the naked eye once again on Urantia. Those teachers who say they channel Machavinta Melchizedek and they call themselves Melchizedek, if I was you, I would take that name Melchizedek away, because you've got a free ticket right now to another planet. I guarantee you that. We will continue in the future to give more information about both the coming of the Adjudicator, or Planet 7X, and the New Jerusalem.
There's a new world coming. Keep the dream alive.
Thank you very much. Become perfect and let the perfect happen. Spiritualution, justice to God's people, the New Jerusalem is coming.
Keep the dream alive. There's a new world coming. There's a new world coming. Keep the dream